Okay, now that I've created the boss and base, the only other things on this part are these hole features. And they're actually threaded and tapped holes, and we'll talk about what that means more later on, but we'll see. These things are on what's called a bolt circle. You'll see that. This isn't the nicest way to call it out, but the best I could do with the software I had at the time. And I'll show you how to accomplish those features. Now, back to here, we're going to use this function called Hole Wizard, which is a pretty cool thing in SolidWorks. If you happen to click on this thing and it doesn't work and it doesn't start up and it does not look like this, I'm going to give you the quick way of showing you how to fix that. What you're going to do here is you're going to click on the gears, this little options dialog box here, and you got to come down here to Hole Wizard / Toolbox. Okay. Now up here in this dialog box here, what you're going to do is click there to browse. And when I installed the software, I didn't do the greatest job on all the computers for right now, so bad on Mr. Foreman. What I'm doing here is I came up there and I scrolled down here and I found local disk C here. Alright, and in this top level C level folder you're going to find potentially a couple versions of this file called SolidWorks data. And in my case I've got SolidWorks data and SolidWorks data :2, or parentheses 2, excuse me. Yours may have even higher number than that. Pick whichever SolidWorks data has the highest number, click on that one, and click Select Folder. Alright? And then you're going to click OK, and it may ask you there may be another menu that pops up and says, are you sure you want SolidWorks to make changes to the computer? And you can click OK and say yes. Now when you come back to use Hole Wizard, this should all work. Okay? It's got to look to that folder to find out the information on how to populate all this stuff in here. Okay. So what we're going to do here now is Hole Wizard is pretty cool that it's got all these existing hole features are kind of standardized in terms of threaded features. So SolidWorks designers know this and they've built a library of all these different things. So we'll talk more on some of the other parts of what these other things are, counterbore, countersink, and all that. What we want right now is a straight tap feature. So you're going to click on that icon. It's grayed now and selected, and it's going to give you these options here: ANSI, inch, ANSI metric, all the rest of this. What we do want is ANSI, ANSI, inch type of hole. Yours is going to probably default to bottoming tapped hole under the type. It's actually best practice in most situations to go just to a simple tapped hole. We'll leave it at that for right now, but we'll get a little bit more detailed as to why as time and context allows later. But what we do want is these are all the different types of threaded hole features, standard threaded hole features that SolidWorks has installed in. And for our particular part, the size of thread that we're going to have are going to be what are called size number 10 and 32 thread per inch. So 10, 32 threaded features that go through the part, all the way through. Bad spelling, but that's how we do it as engineers. THRU, through. So we've selected on that. Right now that's a 3/8/16 thread. That's really big. We only want a 1032. So you got to scroll up. It goes in from smallest 080 or odd 80 all the way to a massive 2" by 4.5 threads per inch threaded feature. So for us, 1032, I'm selecting that here. Okay. We want to make sure that these other ones, the cosmetic thread application's cool. We actually don't need a near side countersink right now, or at least as big as that one is. We'll take that out for right now. And positions is the next thing that we're going to click on. So notice nothing looks like it happened right now, but when we click on positions, it's going to say select the face of the hole or slot position. To create holes on multiple faces, click 3D sketch. Well, we're not going to do that really, but what we are going to do is we're going to click on, notice this has now turned, where I'm highlighting is this face right here, this orange face around. I don't want to click on that. That would be the top of the boss. You could actually click on that face too on the inside. It is on the same plane, but I'm going to, just for safety's sake, click on this outside one right here. Okay, so now what it did is we're effectively into a very similar sketch mode here. And if I were to just click right now, I will be affixing, I'm just pretty much sketching points. And I'm orbiting around in space. That's 4 points just kind of randomly placed. And now in Hole Wizard, it knows wherever you've got a point, apply a hole of those specifications that you had selected in the other type screen. But what I want to do, I'm going to hit Control 8, so I'm looking perpendicular down onto that. So I could just start populating points, and what I could do is start then smart dimensioning, hole to hole, and all the rest of that here, point to point rather. So I could do that. That's one way of doing it. But again, I'm going to try and teach you a little bit more novel way of doing this that will maintain the design intent. So oops, I got that done a little bit too soon. I'm going to delete that away. Now, I'm going to delete these points away just right now to show you. So I hit escape. I am now deleting all those points that I had made. But now I'm going to do is that layout again. I'm going to do a center line. And actually in this case what I could do is a rectangular feature. So there's a rectangle, and that's as if it was an actual full up rectangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on for construction. So guess what? We can make a rectangle that's a construction thing too here, right? And the other thing that's implied is, again, these are symmetric. The circular features that are here, or the hole features, are implied to be symmetric around the center of the part. Now what I'm going to do here then is I'm going to do, did my rectangle, I'm going to do another center line. I'm going to do a center line from midpoint to midpoint, double clicking, left double click to get out of that. And I'm going to come over here, go to that midpoint to that midpoint right there. I'm double clicking to get that line out. So what I've got now is I've got these things finding the center of the part. I've got this rectangle right here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this other awesome thing called relations. And you can get to this again a couple different ways, but I'm clicking on that up there. Add relation. Now what I'm going to do is I've got to click 3 different things to do the thing that I want right now. I'm going to click on that vertical line right there, that vertical line right there, and this central line right there. And when I click that, notice I only have 3 things clicked on here. Oh, is it not letting me do that right now? Well, let's see. So 1, 2, and 3. I am looking for a symmetric relationship, and it's not giving it to me right now. So I'm unhappy. So that right there, and that right there. Nope. It's being a little bit stuffy to me right now. So I'm going to take a different approach. I'm dragging across there. I'm deleting, oh, hold on. I'm still in relation mode there. Delete, 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 delete. Oops. I'm going to have to come back here. Center line. I do a center line from there to there. I'm going to do a center line. Notice that line's popping up there. I'm going to do a center line from there to there. Okay. I'm then going to try my relations, holding down, well, let's come here to relations. I'm hitting escape, going to add relations, click on that line, and this line. Nope, doesn't allow me to do those symmetric that I'm looking for. So delete those away. I'm going to try with just a regular line right now. So I double click to get out of that. Another line right there. Now let's see if this works. I'm going to come back to relation, click in there, hold down control, and click in there. Now, okay, so it doesn't allow you to do a center line symmetric to another center line. Uh-oh. Well, there we go. So those are now symmetric to each other. That's a little glitch. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this off. I'm going to do a line from there to there, and I'm going to do a line from there to there. And hey, that doesn't look exactly right though. But what I'm going to try doing now is I'm going to add the relation again. I'm going to click there, there, and there. And I'm going to make those symmetric about that and see if that works. Well, nice. So that one was horizontal and that popped it all together and made that all nice and hunky-dory. Curious now if I highlight these things, if it'll allow me to make these into construction. Oop, those are relations that I don't want. I'm learning here too, children. So bear with me. There we go. Now let's add relations. It doesn't allow me to... I can do that as a construction. Huh. Okay, so I'm individually clicking on each of these lines, and that's changing them to be construction lines here. So now that does allow me. It's an interesting glitch in SolidWorks. Anyhow, I've got that now. Smart dimension. There. To there. That value is supposed to be 2.713 inches. That from there to there, click one more time, so that was 3 button clicks, is going to be 3.875. Check. So now I've got those points. This may not seem faster at this point because I kind of futzed around and didn't get it quite right. But now I have a nicely dimensioned out, with only a few dimensions here, layout for where to put my points at the corner here. So now what I'm going to do is we've lost track probably of the fact that we're trying to place where those threaded features need to go. Coming up here, and I'm clicking back on, now I've got nothing else selected. Point. So now that I do this, that point icon comes back up, and now that I'm sketching points in the whole wizard, I'm just going to drop those points at the corners of that rectangle. All right. And that's cool. So I've got that accomplished. Now, the other thing that I need to do, I might as well do this all at once, is that bolt circle. So I've now placed the holes that are going to be in the outer area out there. Cool. Now, I need to figure out how to do the center thing. Well, that's a bolt circle, and it's 1.25 inches in diameter. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to create a circle, center circle. Guess what diameter that's going to be? I'm hitting escape. I'm going into smart dimension. And that was actually already highlighted, so that's nice. Save me a moment. That's going to be 1.250 diameter feature. I'm going to click on that. Right now, that if I click back on that circumference of the circle there, I want to make that into a construction feature. So I'm going to click on options. So I clicked on it, I highlighted the circumference. I'm clicking on for construction. Now that hides out. Then I'm going to come back up here and click on point to get back to sketching points. And I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I'm going to click on check to get out of this sketch and actually out of the whole wizard feature altogether. Oop. And there we go. We've got 1224. I don't want 1224s. So double checking here. So if you make a mistake or something like that, I can come back in and edit that feature. Hey, that's perfect teaching opportunity. So wait a minute. I didn't want a 1224. I wanted a 1032. And now this end condition 2, if yours was set to blind here, it may or may not go all the way through. So the way that you can set the end condition, or how far deep it's going to go, is either by blind, and you can specify not only how deep a hole would go, and we'll talk about that, a hole would go, but also how many threads, or how far the threads would go. But in our case, we're going to do through all, okay? So to make those features go all the way through the part, as the drawing said. Voila! That is actually the completed part, the monitor mount, all of 3 features right there. Cool.